Liebesdecke. Gucci and Adidas.
Good evening, everybody. Call this meeting to order. It is Tuesday, December 13, 2022, 7 p.m. And can we please have roll call?
Commission Member Ruben Walsh,
Present.
Commission Member George Amaya, Commission Member Hugo Garcia, Commission Member Javier Barraza,
Present.
Vice Chairwoman Veronica Zavala,
Present.
Chairman Marco Pinzon,
Present.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Barraza, can you lead it?
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Barraza. Consent agenda. All matters are considered to be routine by the Planning and Zoning Commission and will be enacted by one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. 3A, approval of minutes. It was a special planning and zoning commission meeting held October 25th, 2022. Do we have any comments on the minutes? We have no comments. I will now entertain a motion.
so move.
Motion, a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes, October 25, 2022. Item number 4. Public hearings. The Planning and Zoning Commission will be considering a vote or action on the following cases. Any vote or action will be considered separately for each case. There we go. 4A. Public hearing followed by discussion and possible actions on any and all matters regarding conditional use permit case number 2022-0592. A request by Dahl, I hope I said it right, Robbins and Associates on behalf of HMS Development LLC for the conditional use permit from section 18.35.30 C1 of the City of San Luis zoning ordinance to allow commercial building with a gross floor area greater than 50,000 square feet. Assessors parcel number 776-34-260, located south of Cesar Chavez Boulevard between 7th Avenue and 8th Avenue in San Luis, Arizona. Do I have a motion to open public hearing? So, motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Motion carries. Open public hearing. Staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fernando Villegas, Principal Planner, presenting the conditional use permit case 2022-0592. Let me see if it works. No. Oh, yeah. Oh. Uh-oh. Roman, can you go back, please? That's
Very
amazing.
nice.
Okay, as mentioned, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow a commercial building with a gross floor area greater than 50,000 square feet. The applicant is requesting the approval of the conditional use permit for the construction of a hotel with 133 rooms with the building square footage of 76,421 square feet. So the property is located south of Cesar Chavez Boulevard between 7th Avenue and 8th Avenue. In the zoning map here, you can see that to the north, we have Bienestar Stage 5 residential subdivision. To the west, we have commercial vacant land. To the south, Bienestar Stage number 2 residential subdivision, and to the east, a commercial land with a gas station. The next slide shows an aerial view of the property. and the adjacent development. And next, we have a site plan. The site plan that the applicant submitted, you can see that the building is located to the west of the property, and the parking lot is located adjacent to the residential development to the south, and the building is surrounded by the parking lot. Next, we have just a possible view of the elevation looking east. And staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit with the following conditions of approval. The first condition of approval is the applicant or slash owner shall comply with the city of San Luis zoning regulations, building code requirements, public works standards, and any applicable subdivision regulations for the commercial development. The second condition, the applicant slash owner shall submit a trip generation memo for the hotel to determine if the proposed use generates 100 or more trips during the peak hour. If 100 or more trips are generated during the peak hour, the applicant or the owner shall submit a traffic study during the building permit review, and all improvements recommended by the traffic study that are caused by the hotel development shall be constructed by the developer to the satisfaction of the public works director. Mr. Chairman, the applicant agrees with the conditions of approval, and this concludes staff presentation. I don't know if you have any questions for staff or the applicant.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions on this item? For staff?
I have a question. Were the residents in that area notified
Yes.
about this project?
Yes, we're required by state law to send letters to the surrounding property owners within 300 feet of the property.
And just to make sure, were those certified letters?
No, they're a first-class mail letter. Yeah,
Okay,
they're not certified.
because to be honest, I don't know
Go
what
ahead.
everyone else is thinking, but to be honest with you, I was expecting a lot more participations from the residents, especially with a project of this magnitude, but it's still surprising that.
Yes, and I sent, let me check, around 90 letters, and I only got like 2 or 3 phone calls asking about the project. And today, I think we just have one property owner that lives south of the property.
Because the city provided, it was a meeting held on November 1st. Nobody show up to the meeting?
I think we had a meeting on, a citizen review meeting on December 6th. And yes, nobody showed up for the citizen review
So
meeting.
the resident was informed about that?
Yes, in the letter, we sent the day of the planning and zoning meeting, the citizen review meeting, and the council meeting.
English and Spanish?
No, just English.
And it was to the PO box or straight to their home?
The mailing address that we use is the one that the assessor's office have.
Oh, okay.
Whatever the assessor's office records have, that's where we send all the letter.
And I think that the reason that we're asking is because it's a 3-story building, and it's gonna be right behind the residence. It's more than 90 people. They're gonna be affected. I mean,
Yes,
they will be living there. I don't want nobody be watching me from
exactly.
upstairs.
Personally, my opinion is any type of development, especially a hotel, which is highly needed in our community, I think. It's a great thing. It's just what concerns me, it's the location. Having a residential area just behind the parking lot in there, it's one of my main concerns, and also being so close to the junior high, which is what in right on 9th Avenue. It's just my main concern, but I do agree that a hotel is highly needed in our community.
Will,
Right.
the hotel with 49,000 square feet will be allowed without a special permit?
Yes, that's, Mr. Chairman, that's what I wanted to mention. The only reason why we're here today is because the building is more than 50,000 square feet. If the owner decides to reduce the size of the building, they only need a building permit. And in addition to that, the City of San Luis zoning ordinance requires a buffer between the commercial development and the residential, which is only 20 feet. But staff is gonna make sure that that buffer is provided. And in addition to the buffer, they have the parking lot
Right,
and then the building.
okay. But, go ahead.
But the buffer is for, for land. I mean, this is for raised building. So the buffer for 20 and then it's gonna be the parking lot. But the view is gonna be on the back for the residents, right?
Yes, exactly. If somebody lives, right, on the back of the hotel, they probably will be able to see the building from the back of their backyard. And, the only way to prevent that from happening is to have more landscaping. They already have probably a fence there or wall, but we need probably more landscaping to not have a direct visibility of the building on the back.
I was reading on the narrative about the hotel. And they say that because the market, they're gonna have this, normally for the daily needs for the hotel, they're gonna use like small cars, not, so it means they're not gonna be parking lot for trailers.
For
Because this is
semi-trucks?
gonna increase the traffic and
Yeah.
heavy autos there.
Well, maybe that's a question for the applicant because I don't have, but it seems that the site plan doesn't include, parking for large vehicle.
So I side with the commission members and at the end of the day, we do need a hotels. When I was in council, we had these projects and we would send out letters. And yes, again, like always, in any city, only less than 10% show up. And at the time of the project, you start getting complaints or concerns and they never show up for, those, the times and dates that we set for them. So, so we can address the concerns. Like the two calls that you had, were they positive, neutral,
In reality, they just wanted to know more about the project.
disinformation?
Just for information, they were not in opposition and not even in favor. They just wanted more information. And they wanted to know about the meeting, so why we were inviting them to the meeting.
Right. And going back to Mr. Walsh, concern on the kids, my concern is that there's a lot of kids coming through there, and I hope that, in the future that, and I see them because, where I work at with Triple B, a lot of these kids, half of them are going back, home and to Mex. And they cause a lot of problems, a lot of issues. I would hate for them to be going into the hotel or in the parking area, and that's my concern. And of course, hopefully later on, we'll address more on that. Okay, any more questions or comments for Fernando?
One of my question, was this the same project they were trying to develop years ago in the across the street from Walmart, or is this a different project? It might be the same. The same project, and they were also looking at some land on Avenue E.
Right, they
I
were
believe-
trying to use the federal credits and the city was gonna purchase the land for, 5 years and they were gonna, after that, they were gonna buy it, but the federal application never got approved. So that was gone down the drain. So I don't know if this is just straight from them and, okay.
And I would just like to hear some from Mr. Guzman. What's his
Chairman, so just to mention back on what Mr. Villegas mentioned, we sent out 94 letters and we send those to the address that the assessor has on record. There were 2 that only had the physical address, so those were hand delivered. And because we advertised this item for the November meeting, which we didn't have a quorum, we did an advertisement again, and we sent out the letters again to the residents, and we hosted another citizen review meeting, and we didn't receive any residents. I think there's residents right here that might want to talk about the project. However, like Mr. Commission Member Barraza mentioned or asked, this use is a permitted use under the zoning regulations. So if they do a 49,000 square foot building, they don't require
just
that
get a
condition.
regular-
Yeah.
Building permit.
I have a quick question. If this hotel gets approved and it gets built, those homes around there, does their value go up?
Yeah,
It's like, I'm sorry.
You need an appraiser.
Okay, so. She sells houses, so yes, it does go up. Okay, well, that's something positive, so we can throw that out there. Okay. You can build it close to my house. Or does it go up?
No.
Go ahead, we have the applicant here, if you want to come forward. 327, go ahead and just state your
Mr.
name. and-
Chairman, members of the commission, Christopher Robbins, Dahl Robbins and Associates, 1560 South Fifth Avenue in Yuma. I appreciate the time before you tonight. Representing the owner of the property, HMS Development, and the owner of the hotel, Greens Development. Little history, Greens has been looking around for sites in the city of San Luis for a number of years. I think one of the sites they looked at was just over here next to the residential, just to the east of this facility. So they've been working on this project quite a while, trying to find a site that's takes into account neighborhoods, residential development, yet has access to main thoroughfares such as Cesar Chavez Boulevard. So they finally arrived at this site and went through a number of iterations of the site plan. I don't know, Fernando, if you're able to bring up, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. So this is probably the seventh site plan for this site, and they arrived at one that took into account the adjacent residential. As staff had mentioned, there is the 20-foot buffer from residential to commercial. It is about 70 to 80 feet from the south property line to the hotel itself. As you'll notice, they had designed this, a hotel is residential in nature. So we don't expect a lot of noise coming from this site or anything. But the areas where the pool, the spa, the patio, where you might generate some kind of noise, they've tucked into the hotel. It's a U-shaped hotel. So they've been cognizant of the neighbors and tried to take that into account.
Away from the pool, you pull out into like.
Yeah. Right, but that's where a lot of the noise is generated. As far as the 3-story, yes, I mean, the city of San Luis has got the requirement for anything over 50,000 square feet. That triggers the CUP here in the city. That's something we don't see in Yuma County or city of Yuma, but that triggered it here. I'm not sure if R16 in the city of San Luis allows for 2-story. So this is 1 story above that and set back a lot further than you'd see in an R16 development where the side yard setbacks might be something on the magnitude of 7 feet. As was mentioned, this is an allowed use under C2. I think it's time for San Luis to have a hotel. We're anxious to come here. And I think with the improvements on Cesar Chavez Boulevard, that should help address traffic concerns. They're anxious to be here. I'm available for any questions if you have any.
On the park, Veronica, on the parking space that you're gonna provide, is gonna be access to trailers or?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Zavala, the parking lot is set up to provide enough parking for the site. I'd have to look, they've shown some angled parking spaces that would allow for truck and trailer something of that nature, but they don't envision it's gonna be like full of RVs or anything like that. It's just to allow for, it's kind of like the Cracker Barrel in Yuma, where they have those longer spaces. So if you got into a parking lot, you're not, put in a position where you just can't get out of there or can't park someplace.
We have the off-road, a lot of off-road.
Oh.
Here, get a lot of people on it.
Right.
This is true, I'm pretty sure. Using that hotel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's the time on this project? Fun? Here,
Mr. Chairman, they were looking at a submittal date for plans, I believe, in March. This is also going through a subdivision process right now. And they figure about 18 months for time of construction, so they'd be up and operational, if given approvals at 2025. 2025. Thank you.
I have a question for staff. I wasn't quite clear on the info you gave us. A traffic study, will that be requested?
okay, here's part of
Part of the what?
conditional use
Yeah, the traffic study is part of the conditions of approval. That's what we're recommending. It seems that the applicant is gonna submit to us a trip generation memo to make sure that the project doesn't generate more than 100 trips per day, per hour, and during the peak hours. So if they generate more than 100 trips per day, they're gonna have to submit a full traffic study and needs to be reviewed by the public works director. But yes, the traffic study is part of the condition.
before you walk away, can you go back to the map? Where it shows the real map.
The number 4.
The live one, sorry, live map.
Right there?
Is to the, I believe it's to the left or to the west, is that therapy center is still gonna build it there?
Yes,
It's been on there for about 2 years.
yes, Mr. Chairman, that project is under review right now, and yes, it's gonna be part of the subdivision review. Like the applicant mentioned, this entire block is gonna go through a subdivision process. And yes, we're reviewing the building permit right now, and one of the conditions is the subdivision.
There's a strong possibility that what we call it, house center for this on the two.
Yes, yeah. They already submitted plans and we're reviewing the plans. And after the approval of the subdivision, they will be ready to build.
Anyone else? What's that? Members of the public, you will have any questions, comments on this item, now is the time.
Comentarios de los residentes del área.
If there is no comments from the public, I will entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Motion out of second, all those in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
all those against? Motion carries to close public hearing. I will now entertain a motion on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I move to forward conditional use permit case number 2022-0592 to City Council with recommendation of approval, subject to the conditions of approval as recommended by staff.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I'll second that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all those against?
Nay.
Motion
Now.
carries. You. Item 4.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I think there were no two nay votes.
what's that?
There were two votes that voted nay.
Please have roll call.
Commission Member Ruben Walsh,
Nay.
Commission Member Javier Barraza,
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Veronica Zavala,
Now,
Chairman Marco Pinzon.
Aye. Do I stand corrected, please? That would be me too. Please get close to the mic so we can hear. I am very deaf, guys. So motion does not carry. Okay. So let it be noted.
correct.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. 4B, public hearing followed by discussion and possible actions on any and all matters regarding conditional use permit case number 2022-0596, a request by Core Engineering Group P LLC on behalf of RL Jones Properties LLC for conditional use permit from section 18.40.20C1 and 10 of the City of San Luis zoning ordinance to allow a truck stop with gas station and convenience store assessors parcel 227-23-023 located on the east-west corner of Bond Street and Port Authority Avenue in San Luis, Arizona. Entertain a motion in public hearing.
So move. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all those against? Motion carries to open public hearing. Staff presentation.
Come on. Can you open the presentation? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fernando Villegas, Principal Planner, presenting conditional use permit 2022-0596. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow the construction of a truck stop with a gas station and a convenience store.
Fernando, is this a different one or is this the one that's already being built or?
No, this is a brand new project. I'm waiting for the presentation. It's coming. All right, like I said, this project is located on the southwest corner of Bond Avenue and Port Authority Avenue inside the McGreen Industrial Subdivision. The property is owned light industrial and the truck stop with the gas station and convenience stores only allowed with a conditional use permit in the light industrial zoning district. And next, we have an aerial view that shows the location of the existing development and the existing development around the property. According to the site plan submitted by the applicant, the project will be developed in two phases. The first phase will be the construction of the truck stop area, and the next phase is the gas station and the convenience store. Staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit with the following conditions. The first one is the applicant shall comply with the City of San Luis zoning regulations, building code requirements, public work standards, and any applicable regulations for industrial development. And the second condition, similar to the hotel condition, the applicant or the owner shall submit a trip generation memo for the proposed development to determine if the proposed use generates more than 100 trips during the peak hour. If 100 or more trips are generated during the peak hour, the applicant shall submit a traffic study during the building permit review, and all the improvements recommended by the traffic study shall be done by the developer and reviewed by the public works director. This concludes the staff's presentation. I don't know if you, any of the commissioners or the chairman, have any questions for staff regarding this conditional use permit.
It's gonna be developed in two phases, do you know, around timing? It's gonna
No, I don't know the timing. Unfortunately, the applicant is not here today for some reason. But they explained to me, and I think in a narrative, that they wanted to build a truck stop first. And then,
The gas station.
later, they wanted to build the,
Gas station.
gas station and the convenience store
Yeah.
together.
It makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, that area is meant for trucks, so
Mhm.
that would be the way to go. Okay, do you see any complications with this project or city?
Complications, no, I see that they have to do a lot of improvements around the property, road constructions, spending probably water lines or sewer lines, so.
Mr. Chairman, due to some technical difficulties, we'll have to take a 5-10 minute break on the for the Zoom meeting that we